In this short teaching, we're continuing. We've spoken, look at the teaching called the seed. There's also a teaching called grace, on grace, what the root meaning of grace. All of these fit together to form a picture. Today we're going to speak about what happened in the garden. Now, I know children's Bibles always have this snake, because the Bible talks about a serpent. The snake comes and speaks to Eve, right? Can we pause for a moment? Do we apply nonsensical, non-logical concepts to our daily life on a regular basis? Maybe you do, but I don't like doing that. Okay, the Bible makes sense. Everything God does has order and makes sense. Not that the snake speak to Eve. Okay, the Bible does call it a serpent, but it's a way of translating what happened in the Bible. Now, later on we see it refers to the serpent, that old dragon of old ages. It is Satan, the devil, Lucifer. And we know that Lucifer is a fallen angel. Used to be a creature of light, made magnificent by God, and it rebelled against God. What's it doing in the garden? Okay, we're just going to look at what really happened there. What's the words that were used, and why was it translated like that? So if you start searching for the earliest occurrence of the word used that we translated the serpent, we see that the word is nahas. And nahas has no early meaning. It just kind of appears in history. Aramaic root that has no specific meaning. But when you start seeing what it was used for, it was a manifestation of something fiery and light, and the way they described it was like polished copper or bronze, shining, fiery. And that starts giving us an idea of what we are actually dealing with. So the original deepest root is unknown, the origin. But we see that it starts occurring and forming a pattern in the scriptures. And we can start picking up what it means. In Chaldea, it means brass or copper when polished. It also was used for an Ammonite king, and the king's name was Nahash. Now, Ammonite, it's the cursed blood, the cursed seed, okay, also the enemies of God's people. Then we see that the meaning historically of Nahas is equated to divinity, magic, witchcraft, influence or beguile with power, or suggestion that is supernatural. So the word Nahas, the polished copper or bronze image that shines with light, that uses magic or suggestion to influence supernaturally. The picture is starting to unfold. Satan's nature was serpent-like, and that's why they started translating it as a snake-like creature. But he didn't appear, obviously, as a snake. Would Eve really turn to the snake and take his suggestion seriously, as opposed to an angel pretending to be an angel of light, magnificent creature coming to speak to her? That would carry more influence, wouldn't it? The fact is that God gives Adam authority over all the animals, over creation itself. Now, if a snake came and made a suggestion, and he was given with Eve authority over everything, would they have considered his voice? But you see, when a supernatural creature of light comes with a suggestion, it's a different story altogether. It's important to note. Also important to note that the word cunning that we see here in Hebrew is equated to wise. Now, would the snake as a creature be more wise than all the other created animals? The word that is referred to as all the other beasts is Kai, and it is all living creatures. So it actually says that the serpent were more wise than all living creatures. See, it doesn't add up that a snake spoke to Eve. But if you consider that this was an eternal creature, an angel with authority, that had rebelled against God, knew all things, the Bible says about Satan that he had all wisdom. See, the dots are starting to connect. In the story of Moses, we see, remember it says that fiery serpents, because they rebelled against God, fiery serpents are sent to bite them as a curse. What do they raise up in the wilderness? They raise up, on God's command, a serpent, golden serpent, shining like polished brass or copper. But now, the one is actually in Hebrew, the ones that are biting them is seraphim. The ones that are protecting them is cherubim. We are obviously dealing with various references to the angelic creature, the heavenly creature. So it's just correcting what happened in the garden. In the garden, a snake didn't speak to Eve. And it's very important because now we can start plotting our way through the Bible and we can see how everything fits in. Because the garden and what happens there is very important. We've got to understand something about figurative speech. Figurative speech isn't there to make a statement or establish anything. It is there to illuminate or accentuate certain concrete facts. We see, for instance, that in Genesis, Dan is called a snake. The tribe of Dan is called a snake. In 2 Timothy, Nero is called a lion. In Luke 13, Herod is called a fox. And Judah is also called a lion. Now, obviously, Herod wasn't a real fox. And obviously, Judah wasn't a real lion. So when Satan is called a snake or a serpent, it is just figurative speech to describe his nature, his approach, who he's acting like. Okay, so it's a picture that's painted. It doesn't mean he was a snake. It's very important. Have a look at the teaching on the seed. Have a look at the teaching on what grace is, and you'll start seeing the picture falls in. Thank you for listening.